I've worked in financial services for over 10 years, and in these years I've spoken to over 1,000 people just like you about their money. Everyone I've spoken to has a different money story. For some, it's been struggling with thousands of pounds of debt, and with others, they've been multi-millionaires who've never needed to work again. Hearing people's experiences has taught me many things about money, people's attitudes towards it, what works well and what doesn't. So today I'm going through the top 5 lessons I've learned as a financial advisor and planner when it comes to managing your finances. Lesson number 1 is managing money requires planning. Most of us earn money, sometimes save a portion of it, spend most of it, and then repeat this process when the next paycheck comes around at the end of the month, without really having a clear plan on why and what for. But if you want greater control over your finances, making a purposeful plan can help you get there. Some see this as restrictive or rigid, but in reality, I found planning actually gives you more flexibility. Knowing you've already accounted for your savings goals makes spontaneous purchases guilt-free, as in your wider plan, you know you're preparing for your future. Whether you earn 6 figures plus every year or you're in severe debt, people who get to where they want first had clearly defined their end destination and worked backwards on how to get there. A plan helps you know exactly where your money is going, what it's doing, and most importantly, how it's benefiting you. If you're struggling to define your end goals for your plan, ask yourself these questions. If you had a magic wand and could wave it to change one thing about your current financial situation, what would you change and why? What does your ideal lifestyle look like in 5, 10, or 20 years' time? What does retirement mean and look like for you? Once you've asked yourself these initial questions, dig deeper and ask yourself why that is. This process will help define where you want to be in the future and give you that end goal to work towards. If you don't take the time to think about and answer these questions yourself, then unfortunately they often get answered for you. Government policy on pension contributions, allowances, pension access age, and when your state pension will pay out often dictate how much we save and how long we generally might work for. But if this isn't what you want, unless you make a plan, then you will likely fall into society norms without even realizing it. Lesson number 2 is understand your attitude to money. So much of personal finance is less about maths and economics and more about your behavior and psychology. Our individual relationship with money can be complex and influenced by many factors. A 2018 study from the University of Michigan found that children as young as 5 start to form the same financial tendencies as adults. And back in 2013, behavioral experts from Cambridge University found that concepts relating to financial behaviours such as planning ahead and delaying gratification are typically developed by age 7. So many of our money habits are formed before we even realise it, and our upbringing can have a big effect on how we view money. I recently spoke to a new client who told me he spent his life saving as much as he could. And he'd always struggled to spend money and felt guilty about it when he did. When we dig deeper, we realised he had kept working and saving into his late 60s as he'd associated this with security and comfort. However, when we reviewed his savings and pensions and created a financial plan together, we found he had more than enough to fully retire and in fact could have left work 5 years earlier. This realisation brought home how his attitude to money has resulted in him missing out on extra years in retirement, spending more time with his grandchildren. It's so important to recognise your own attitude to money, whether you're a compulsive spender, saver, totally avoidant of your financial situation, or a worrier who is constantly checking your investments and savings accounts. Your money personality type can mean you're more susceptible to certain biases and behaviours which can negatively impact how you manage your finances. The book The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel goes into more detail on this, so I absolutely recommend checking that one out. By acknowledging our attitudes, behaviours and biases towards money, we can start to see where they help or hinder us. From there, we can confront them and change our behaviour in a way that supports our financial success. Lesson number 3 I've learned is avoid shiny objects. When it comes to money, shiny object syndrome refers to the tendency for investors to be drawn towards flashy, trendy, opportunistic assets without fully considering the associated risks. While you might think this is a modern phenomenon, it isn't and has been happening for centuries. In the 17th century, tulip mania is often cited as the first recorded financial bubble. In the Netherlands, the price of tulip bulbs skyrocketed as they became highly fashionable. At their peak, a single tulip bulb could be worth as much as a house. But in recent years, we've had cryptocurrency and NFTs which have gained huge media attention, causing sharp increases and then declines in their underlying values. While some timed this well and made a fortune, I would bet a whole lot more lost a significant amount of their money. So why do we do this? Well, there are many reasons why we hop on the next investing trend or get drawn into another money-making scheme. It could be out of fear of missing out, following the herd, overconfidence in your own ability to pick the next winner, lack of patience when it comes to growing your money, or simply you get swept up in the media attention and excitement. The people I've spoken to who've managed their money well, consistently over time, have done this by diversifying their wealth in proven assets. And where they've needed help, they've sought professional advice. Global equity funds and property are examples of assets that have a track record of stability and growth over decades. If you want to maintain and increase your wealth, stick to these proven winners. Lesson number 4 is time is the most important factor when it comes to being financially successful. The importance of time and patience doesn't just relate to money, but all aspects of life, whether it's your career, your business, or anything else you're pursuing. I recently learned that it took Mr. Beast 2 years and over 100 videos for him to reach his first 1,000 subscribers. Now, after 12 years, he has the most subscribed YouTube channel ever. Whilst we might perceive him as an overnight success, his success came through persistence and consistency, continuing to post even when the results weren't immediate. But why is time important when it comes to your money? There are 2 reasons for this. Number 1 is the power of compounding, and number 2 is the reduced impact of market volatility. Compounding is the process where the returns on your investments generate their own returns. Let's look at the MSCI World Index, which is a benchmark that measures the performance of equity markets across developed countries, to explain this. Over the past 44 years, the real, so inflation adjusted, average annual growth rate of the MSCI World Index has been approximately 7%. Fast forward 30 years into the future, using the power of compound interest, that initial £10,000 has grown to £76,123. Now, I can hear you thinking, but surely you wouldn't consistently receive 7% each year, and you're right. But this is where time has its second advantage in reducing the impact of volatility. Whilst markets can be volatile in the short term, they trend upwards over the long term. For example, over the last month, the MSCI World Index has fallen by 1%, but over the last 5 years, it has grown by 77%, 10 years by 239%, and 20 years by 725%. So the longer you stay invested, the less impact short-term market fluctuations have on your overall returns, and the greater that compounding effect becomes. So when it comes to managing your money investments, those who achieve success think of their outcomes in years and decades instead of weeks and months. By looking at your finances this way, it can help you stay calm and avoid any rash decisions, knowing you are playing the long game. The final and 5th lesson I've learned is managing money requires discipline. Personal finance can come across as a complicated topic, but when you break it down, it comes down to spending less than you earn and converting these savings to wealth. In an age where often looking wealthy is actually more important than being wealthy, many of us fall into the trap of purchasing stuff we don't need to impress the people around us. The people I've spoken to who manage their money well and have enough to support their lifestyle now and in the future have had discipline in 2 areas. They've spent their money wisely on things they value, and they've consistently saved and invested over time. So forget trying to keep up with the neighbours. Focus on your goals, revisit your plan often, and do what you need to do to get there. So there are the 5 key lessons I've learned about managing money as a financial advisor. But I'll end this video by saying I've spoken to people who've had really bad financial habits and way off where they wanted to be. But with enough discipline, patience, and understanding of themselves and money, they've managed to turn their finances around, which has set them up for their own financial success. So it's never too late to improve your money management. If you've come this far, thank you for watching this video. And for more videos in the future on how you can manage your money, please subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next one.